Well, I wasn't expecting to have this opportunity, guys. I'm just out with my buddy Scotty and family and friends on his Prestige 680, and it's actually an event run by Prestige from Matt, by Matt from Ancasta Marine. These guys, they run the Balearics, and they've also got another office over in Brighton. Good laugh, great banter if you have a few beers with them. But we've got this beautiful Prestige M48, the brand new Power Cat by Prestige, and it's actually rough water out there today here on Mallorca. I don't know exactly what this port's called. It's short, sharp, bumpy stuff. Nobody's out there, so we figured, let's go out. Let's give the boat a run and talk to you guys about what we find. Dan Jones is my name. Welcome to Dan's Boat Life. I'll leave pricing and details in the description below. And as I said, test drive starting right now. Twin 320 horsepower, so the Volvo D4s on a V-drive shaft. In a little bit of a tunnel, I have had a look below decks. We've got a genset on this boat, and we have a bow thruster in one bow. We do have a reasonable amount of bridge deck clearance, and there is, in the middle of the two hulls, there is a little bit of a wave piercer just there as well. I'm just going into the swells right now. We've got some jet skis having a bit of fun right where we want to go, and let's do this. Coming out at 7.6 knots, engine revs at 800 RPM, no, sorry, 1700 RPM, what am I saying? You can't really hear the motors from up here, so it's hard to get a feel. And swell on the bow right now. I'm going to increase speed, and I'm going to pick a line. So what you can find with a power catamaran, if you're going straight into the wash, you might find yourself filling the space between the hulls up with too much water, and you could just introduce the boat into a slightly uncomfortable ride. So what I'm going to do is just pick a line where I'm slightly diagonal to this swell and increase my speed. 2,300 revs, 9.7, 9.9 knots, and climbing, and I'm going to get the boat right up and moving. 10 knots and climbing. This is a lovely place to drive the boat from up here. We do have another helm station downstairs. We'll give you a quick walkthrough at the end of this drive, just so you guys can get a feel for the interior. I'm sure there's lots of other walkthroughs on the internet, but hey, we're here, so let's do it. Okay, rocking and rolling. So I've got short and sharp swells coming at me on this direction. We've got rocks just here, and the waves are bouncing back. So this is, you know, we get these sorts of conditions back home, to be fair. I'm running 15, 16 knots now, 3,250 RPM. The boat seems pretty comfortable at this angle. I certainly don't think I would be going head to sea in these short, lumpy conditions. If it was big rolling swell, I reckon with a power catamaran, I'd be much more comfortable to do that. If it's short and sharp, I would choose to go diagonal and just pick my lines. You know, you got the speed advantage as opposed to a sailing cat, so why wouldn't you just use it? So let's pump it up a little bit more. 16 knots, 16 and a half, let's just give it some more. I'm not gonna go flat chat because we are in the ocean. 17 knots, feels good. You can feel the odd wave impacting in between the hulls. Other than that, she's pretty smooth. And as I said, I think it's about all about picking your lines. I do like driving from up here. If it was too rough, you could always choose to just go down to the lower helm. Lovely. Okay, I think it's time we turn this boat around and run alongside these beautiful cliffs. Tell you what, guys, I've probably said this in a couple of videos already this week in Palma. If you get a chance to visit this island, it's paradise. This place is really, really amazing. Such a wonderful boating destination, and I would highly recommend it. Okay, I might as well increase my outboard engine just to get us through this turn here. Okay, now increasing both engines, back up to 2,800 revs on starboard, 3,200. Couple of waves here. And here's a big one. Okay, getting rolled around a little bit. So be it. And back online. Okay, there we go. 15 knots, wind over the decks now. We're going into the wind. I reckon 16 knots to 17 knots is the comfortable speed in these sorts of conditions. The boat's fine. Yeah, this is good. Running with it. I've got the swells coming in this way. I'm just picking my line. She's good. You know, if you had some miles to cross, this is a good boat to do it in. When I say miles, I would say Mediterranean miles. I don't know what the range is on this boat because I haven't actually checked the fuel capacity. This is just an opportunistic thing that's presented itself to me. So I thought, hey, why not? But we will check that out a little bit later in this video. I suspect this boat is perfectly suited for Mediterranean cruising. The kind of distances that they cross here, the places that you visit, you've got so much space to enjoy on a boat like this. It really does feel like a much bigger boat than 50 feet. And maneuvering it, because the holes are so wide, it's really a piece of cake. I've just done a few turns in the harbour there, and it's not a difficult boat to manoeuvre whatsoever. So if you were using it as a day boat function or in a day boat function, you are going to be really enjoying yourself. Just coming into the harbour here, really sloppy water here. So we've got waves coming from both directions. I'm just going to concentrate a little bit, come in with speed, make sure I tackle that correctly. Waves coming this way, waves coming that way and that way. 17 knots and slowing down. So I'll actually just demonstrate what I was talking about regarding the maneuverability. Scotty, maybe as I do it, we'll head over here. You can film the front or the back of the boat so everybody can see what I'm talking about. If you haven't driven a multi-hull vessel before, when you do transverse thrust, so one engine in forward and one engine in reverse, you have, because of the beam, you have a lot more leverage. So you can kind of do a lot more than what's potentially you're able to do on a monohull boat. So I'm just going to bleed off some of that speed there. And there's the obvious advantages of having all this real estate to play with when you get to your anchorage or destination. But from a maneuvering perspective, let's just stop the boat. Give it some revs. Okay, if I want to turn this boat around, one in reverse, one in forward, just watch this. Just look forward and see how quick we can spin this boat. So I'm only applying 2,000, sort of 1,900 to 2,000 revs on both motors. And can you see how quickly she's spinning around? They're just a shaft drive. So in a marina scenario or in a anchorage, a tight anchorage where you need to go somewhere, your options are many. And if you haven't had a lot of experience maneuvering bigger boats and you're coming out of, say, a 40-foot cruiser, and this looks daunting, what I'm saying to you is that it shouldn't be, because it's quite achievable. Anyway, let's go find our mooring and I'll walk you through this boat and show you some of the details.